Donc lorsque je flingue, c'est toute ma putain de nation qui flingue avec moi. Tu vois ce que je veux dire?
Welcome back, everyone. This is Puda with 3 rounds. We got Coach Terry, Jab University. It probably seems like it's been a while because it has been a while. So we've been busy, you know what I mean? And things happen, but we're glad to be back. We got a boxer that was active. He was just competing in a tournament just not too long ago. So we'll talk to him out in Tennessee. I think was it Christine Forkins? He's out there.
Christine Forkins from Nashville, yeah.
So
from a little bit from him.
Yeah. So we'll see what's happening out there in Tennessee. But first, let me get your thoughts. I haven't talked to you in a little bit. Just Golden Gloves. A lot of things. A lot of people probably didn't see it because when you scroll up to go to the screen, okay, maybe $25, $30, $200. They wanted $200 for this tournament. Did you see any of it?
I just seen what Yoruba posted, and then I seen Ari's first. I seen both her fights. Yeah. The one where she got DQ'd by Roland Gamez.
Man, and Roland, we did have him on the show, so I don't know. We'll see what's going on there. Unfortunately, I did not. As many people probably didn't see it. I did catch a lot of the finals, so I'm actually going to post something up. And one of the
shout out to Julius Ballo, he back.
Hey, there you go. And one of the bouts I did cut up is with our guest today. We put it out there, and we'll get his thoughts on the tournament and kind of moving forward. Before we go into that, we got the last qualifier happening right now in Thailand. There is some local kind of broadcasts happening for some bouts and this and that, but the actual stream from Olympics.com started today, so we will not have representation in some of the weight classes now. 75 kilos female and 80 kilos in the male division, or unfortunately did not advance in the tournament. But we still got Alyssa out there. Jamar Talley is just doing an amazing man. His stock is rising, so I'm glad. I'm sure everybody's looking for him to make that pro turn, and it'll come because he's been doing great out there. So. But let's go ahead and bring our guest in, and let's get started. Hey, champ, how you doing?
What up, guys? I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Hey, again, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here for a little bit. Just get to know. This is solely dedicated on the amateur boxing level, and you definitely have been doing things at that level, so we'll get going there. But first, go ahead and say your name, city and state, and the name of the gym that you train at.
Okay, yeah. So my name's Seth Duran. I'm from Columbia, Tennessee, and right now I'm representing out of Music City Boxing out in Nashville.
Music City Boxing. Definitely heard of that gym before. So first question I ask everybody is, how do you get started? How do you get involved with boxing?
So it was actually through my dad. I was actually 5 years old. We were driving. I'm actually from California. Fun fact. We were driving through Victorville, and there was a local boxing gym out on 7th Street called Elite Boxing Gym, Elite Boxing Fighting Sports. And it was actually raining. I remember this specifically. It was raining, and my dad, he actually passed the boxing gym. And just me knowing my dad at 5 years old, I was like, man, I'm glad he didn't. I seen some kids boxing. I was like, oh man, I'm glad he didn't stop. And then as soon as I thought of that in my head, he stopped that car and he turned it around and he signed me and my older brother up that night. So, I mean, at that moment, I didn't know how long I was going to be boxing for, but man, I'm glad he stopped that car.
Hey, there you go.
I got a more important question. Because I grew up boxing in Memphis. How the hell you end up in Columbia, Tennessee?
Yeah. So it's man, I asked myself the same question too. My dad, he brought his business out here, so I guess the money's right over here. I mean, he's getting good work, so I came over here with him. And the boxing scene is not as big as out here, but I mean, we make it work. So,
oh man,
I'll do what we have to do.
Out of Nashville area, you, Christine Forkins, Caleb Plant.
Yeah,
man.
big shout out to Chrissy.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, and she had a hell of a tournament too at the Golden Glove. So she's been doing big things and had a shot at the team, but she just had qualified at a higher weight class. I think she's more comfortable a little under. So, but shout out to her there at City Boxing there. Okay, so you got introduced to the sport very early, 5 years old. It's kind of funny that you have that like image, that whole sequence kind of strained in yourself. But tell me a little bit when you were training, when did you like started to take it seriously? Because sometimes you get in there and you grab the gloves, you run around, punch bags and stuff. But when did you start to say, okay, you know what, let me pay attention a little bit?
I'd say probably like 5 years old. I mean, a couple months into it, I knew in my head, okay, I'm gonna be in my head at that age. I was like, I'm gonna be the best boxer to ever live at that time. So I knew one day, I was gonna make it happen one way or another. I know I wasn't deep into it. I didn't start competing till I was actually 12, but I knew I was gonna make it. I knew I was gonna be training. I knew what I had to do later on. Now in this time, so right now I'm kind of living out that process that I always knew I was gonna have to do.
All right. So for all those that have not seen you box, we've seen you box, and I would say your style differs a lot from where you are located, and probably more based in where you're from. But like, describe your boxing style to the public.
So my boxing style, it always depends on my opponent. But this last tournament, I'd say I was a boxer puncher. That's what I like to say. Call my style. I could definitely punch, but I could definitely box too. I like to move around, especially in these 3 rounds. I like to get my points, and I like to take that angle. So you always catch me moving on my feet. You're not gonna find me in one spot. So that's the best way I could kind of describe my style personally.
You're a pretty good puncher too, though. You got some wham bam in them hands, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a fan friendly style, right? Sometimes you gotta trade. You're the opponent's more aggressive. You got to be able to stand your ground, but also utilize that kind of aggressiveness against them and using those angles and introducing some of that stuff. So that's exactly. How many fights do you have so far?
I think the last time we checked on Concord Club, I think it said around 52. This last tournament, I broke into the 50s.
Okay. Do you have a bout that stands out to you, memorable win, or maybe one that you learned a lot from?
I've been to the finals a couple times now, so I'd say all my finals bouts, those I've really been learning. I've come a long way from my first nationals. My first national tournament, I made it all the way to the finals, and ever since then, like, I've just been learning, all the way up until now.
Okay. Have you ever fought any Joey Hadley's kids out of Memphis?
I don't think so. No.
It's an odd style to fight because Joey Hadley was with Customato before Mike Tyson was, and they all got this little thing, and I thought you would have seen it by now. Yeah, it's weird to fight.
No, I haven't actually. Does he still train fighters?
I think he had that Bartlett boxing, Bartlett jiu-jitsu. I don't know. He retired as a sheriff's deputy, so I don't know what he's doing now. But where are you competing at? Like,
so
it's in Nashville. What are you at? Huntsville, Alabama. Where are you competing at, man?
Wherever we could find fights. I've competed from California all the way to Florida. I've been almost all over the United States. Just trying to find fights. When we moved out here, coming from California, there's fights almost every weekend where you're at.
It's a 2-hour drive. Yeah,
an hour, 2 hours. When we came out here, I remember we tried to get me a fight, and my dad said we had to drive 10 hours. I was like, what the heck? All the way to, I think it was South Carolina. I was like, man. It's definitely different. It was a little bit of a shock, but we make it work. Most of my fights actually come from the national tournaments, so that's kind of where I've been getting all my experience at.
Okay, and obviously going from just competing locally, before you kind of work your way up to nationals, or did you jump right into nationals? And how was that transition when you went to, you got the full ring set up, you got kind of stadium atmosphere, you got audio, like was that just kind of another day in the office for you, or did it take a little bit of getting used to?
I'd say it took a little bit to get used to. I mean, it kind of that my first national tournament, I was 15. So I started competing at 12. Then when I moved out here, there was a little bit of a break, trying to find a gym, because out here in Colombia, the gyms are kind of like an hour away. I'm used to like 15-minute drive and stuff. So I was kind of struggling to find my footing. But once I started competing, I got back into boxing when I was like 14, 15. We went to the 2020 nationals that they were supposed to have in December. They canceled that and pushed it to, I think, March. But I ended up competing in that one. I went into the tournament around with like 10 fights, I'd say. And I fought 3 times all the way to the finals. And yeah, definitely in the finals, that it was a big, the bright lights and all that. I'd say I got used to it pretty quick. I mean, I knew I was, like I said, I always knew I was destined for this. So I mean, I did what I had to do, and I just did it.
Definitely.
So how far are you driving to train?
Luckily, so they actually opened up a local boxing gym that we train out of. Shout out to Butcher Shop Boxing here in Colombia. So me and my dad's my coach, and we don't really have to travel too far no more to get some rounds in the bag and the mitts and all that. So we've been working out there. For sparring, that's when we have to drive an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour to Music City.
Okay, you only sparring at Music City, or are you going down to Huntsville at Rocket City too?
Rocket City, yeah. Shout out to Rocket City. Yeah, we go down there too sometimes. They
Larry Bright. Larry Bright. Yeah.
They come up, we come down. Wherever the work's at. I mean, we sometimes go to Louisville to spar.
Louisville. That's right, man.
yeah, 4 hours from where I'm at. So we go down there or up there. And, I mean, my dad, he's on top of it. He gets me the sparring. He
putting the miles on his car too, though.
yeah.
Man, that's a lot of dedication. Shout out to Dad, man.
Yeah,
Bob Duran. Shout out to you. Man,
you got to be a road warrior to be a part of this sport. This is not a sport kind of associated with school or anything like that. You gotta go out and find the sport, and you got to put miles in that. You've seen, Coach. Shout out to Coach Carlos out there. He got a little bus. Like you got to do what you got to do to get to these places.
Yeah, definitely. This sport not for the weak at all.
No, definitely. Now you mentioned that your dad kind of coaches you and probably has been there since the start, kind of trained you. How is that relationship? We had a lot of boxers here who their dad is the coach, and it's boxing 24/7 or but there's always you guys got to be on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Boxing is very competitive, both for the coach and the boxer. So how do you guys kind of balance, make sure that you guys are on track and kind of keep focused on those goals that you guys want to reach?
My dad, he's like I'd say he's an open coach. So he's not one of those strict dads who just, it's only him, only he could train me and all that. He's learning too. He likes to say he's learning with me. He takes me to Vegas and to California. We communicate with the coaches out there, like top level coaches, and he asks them for advice. He lets them work with me and all that. But our relationship is great. It's my dad, he gets on my nerves sometimes, but I love my pops, so I can't complain.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you get on his nerves too.
I was gonna say.
But
oh man. So look, 2-part question. Have you played any other sports? And what is it about boxing that makes this it?
So yeah, I have played other sports. Growing up, I mean, I was just a very athletic kid, you know. I played baseball when I was very young, you know. Baseball, I played football, freshman year, soccer, my middle school years. I mean, almost all sports. I mean, even like just sports outside, you know, like pickleball and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just a very athletic person, just competitive as well. So, I mean, like, I just like to, you know, be active. But as far as boxing, like, like I said, it's just this is like my main thing. You know, I always knew it was gonna be boxing. Even when I was playing baseball, like I knew everyone on the team knew I was the boxer. When I was playing soccer, everyone, oh, that's a boxer. You know, all that. When I played football, like the coaches, they seen my physical and they're like, oh, you do boxing. And I was like, yeah, that's my sport right there.
Okay.
That's what's up, man.
And as I mentioned that boxing is obviously not incorporated into the school system, or at least the majority. There might be some exceptions here and there, but how were you as a student? Going to school. You're the boxer. But did you try to keep it to yourself? Like, did people know? And then how were the teachers receptive? Like, you going for tournaments that are week long, right? You're missing 2-3 times during this, during the year. Like, were they okay with it, or some of them are not very okay with. So what was your experience being a student athlete, but being in a sport that's not associated with the school?
Okay. I mean, so as far as like telling people that I'm a boxer, I was never like the one to gloat, you know, like, oh, I'm the boxer, you know, don't mess with me and all that. But they always found out. I mean, I was never shy. I was like, I would, if they asked me, hey, you play any sports? Yeah, I'm telling them I'm a boxer. And just like that, I mean, word just gets around. You know, everyone's like, oh, he's a boxer, he's a boxer. And it kind of feels good, you know, letting them do all the talking. But no, the teachers, they were actually, all my teachers were cool. They would ask me questions. They would they would even support too sometimes. You know, they would come out, check out my fights and stuff. They would ask, like, I got some actually following me on Instagram. So I mean, the support was definitely, it was always there. It was always there.
Hey,
Right.
shout out to those teachers, man.
Yeah,
There's
shout
some,
out
you
to
you
them.
hear those, you hear those
A little
stories and
support
stuff. Like,
goes a long way, man.
there you go. There you
A
go.
little support goes a long way. So, like, what's a day in the life of Seth Duran like? Like, you working with your dad, or you just what you doing?
So I just finished high school, my senior year. Actually 1 week before we headed out to nationals.
Okay.
Uh, the Saturday before, I that was my graduation.
Awesome.
Then, but a day in the life is just, you know, waking up. Always got to check my weight. You know,
That's
got
a boxer
yeah,
thing. Get
yeah,
on the scale.
yeah. Get on the scale. Definitely, you know, eat breakfast. Got to fill up. Now that I'm out of school, it's definitely gonna be running in the morning. You know, getting my miles in. Two times a week is when I strength train. So out in Spring Hill. Shout out to D1. They sponsored me for my Golden Gloves trip.
Oh,
So
that's
big
what's
shout out to them. Then in That's around noon. Then in the afternoon, around 4 to 6, 4 to 7, whenever, it's just boxing. You know, I'm in the gym, um, just working, and then just rinse and repeat 5 days a week.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Like you said, this sport is definitely not for the weak, especially this sport that's it's really it's jealous, right? It
Yeah,
wants you to be on
def-
it all the time, be repetitive, you know, get up early, probably leave the gym late, that type of situation. But you have to be mentally prepared for that. Like, you got to be able to be ready to accept that this is what it takes, and then actually follow through it and kind of go with that. So, did you have any struggles with maybe staying focused on with boxing? Maybe were there some times where maybe it wasn't as easy to get to the gym or anything like that? And you're obviously competing and training, so you kind of how did you overcome some of those, if you had any of those challenges?
I mean, yeah, we're all human, you know. Every boxer is gonna go through their mental battles, through their, you know, those all those battles, you know, how to those obstacles, getting to the gym and all that. But I mean, luckily for me, like I said, my dad, he's always been there for me. He's always kind of I put my trust in him, and I just know he's gonna do right by me in the best way he can. But mentally, I mean, it does, it gets draining. It does, you know. But I mean, like, this is the time I know I'm at that age where this is where I gotta make it. You know, I gotta work and make something of myself. You know, I can't just let myself. You know, I gotta make my young me is counting on me right now. So that's the way I like to think of it. So I gotta make them proud.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah. Shout out to D1, but how like how did you get into the strength and conditioning? What prompted you to add that to the already existing boxing repertoire you had?
So my dad just, you know, even me too, like looking at my fights back in the days, you know, with the tank top, you know, my muscles weren't really all there. And
Man, that's pre-puberty, dog. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
definitely
You
feel
got the little hair now. You got muscles. They gonna show up, man.
yeah, definitely. But my dad, he looked into it, and we just he's like, we always knew that just lifting heavy wasn't, you know,
Yeah, never.
wasn't gonna do me any good. So he got me into like that strength and conditioning where it's gonna be like agility, you know, more explosiveness than anything, you know. So, and also just getting that pop on that punch, you know. So like you said, all that pop, all that wham in my punch, gotta thank D1.
Shout out to D1.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. Shout outs to them for sure. So, you know, when say you're, you know, a national and you're getting ready to compete, you're a couple bouts out, right? You're getting your hands wrapped. Like, how are you mentally getting ready to get through those ropes? You know, be able to execute, you know, what you've been training the whole training camp. Like, how are you getting ready to get in there and perform?
So just like Mike Tyson said, when he's before he gets in there, he's nervous. I mean, I'm nervous. You know, I'm thinking every scenario almost. But just as you get closer to the fight, you know, I like to think, hey, the other guy's human too. He bleeds, you know. So just getting my confidence up and just looking my opponent, you know, straight at him in the eye, you know, not breaking eye contact, you know, just just helps, you know, all that. Just yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you know,
I don't know. I don't really have to struggle
okay.
with being nervous. I'd say um, beginning, like when I first started competing, that was a big thing. But you know, knowing I've fought the top guys in the country, knowing I've sparred with some of the best pros, you know, some like prospects and just good people. Like I know the guy in front of me, I've probably seen better. So I gotta just stick to know to what I know, you know.
Yep. Yep.
So you've kind of alluded to it already, but um, the pro game. How long do you plan to stay in the amateurs? Are you going to hang out to 2028? Or are you exploring where the, I guess, professional fights are for you?
So that's a good question. I'm definitely doing this upcoming summer festival coming up in July, I think, or June. It is.
June, yeah,
Yeah.
June
Yeah,
20.
June. I'm in camp for that. We're thinking about doing the nationals in December. From there, maybe I might give it another shot at Golden Gloves, you know, or maybe I might just turn pro, depending where I'm at, you know, the work I'm getting, just how I feel, how my dad thinks I look. So I just putting my trust in my team and myself. I just know that the doors will open as we get there, as we get closer.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of alluding to just being comfortable, right? Because you can only turn pro once, right? So you got to make sure that that,
do it
you're
right.
ready to go, right? And are able to make that jump in the best manner to be successful, to have the outcome that you need. Now, you said you've been in there with sparring pros and whatnot. What are those notable differences? What have you been learning from those sessions? Because it is a different game from the pros to the amateur. What has been your experience in some of those sparring sessions?
First thing I gotta say is definitely the pop on the punches. I know in that the pros that I spar, they definitely sit on their punches. They're not moving as much. I mean, you still have movement, but it's not the point game. It's the pros. They want to get your head out. They're looking for that knockout. They want to please the crowd. So that's a big thing. Definitely, as well as like the rounds too. It's not always going to be 3 rounds. I know that. So just also that conditioning, uh, learning to not fade as the rounds go. Um, I'd say those two are basically the biggest that I've noticed so far.
Nice.
All right. Uh, who are some of the people you're getting work with? Some of these prospects, some of the kids from Rocket City. Who are you sparring to get ready for a tournament?
So recently, we got a Cuban out here in Nashville. His name's Hermes. Big shout out to him. I've been sparring him. He's been my sparring partner. But I've been in California working in Robert Garcia's gym, sparring out there. All the gyms,
Work,
all
man.
stars. I've been to Jorge Rubio's gym, Sentinels. My dad, he likes to take me to get my name out there, I'd say.
I got you. That's a good thing. And
Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Garcia, they're real good. Rubio's real good people too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah,
real good.
yeah. It's about getting those different looks, right? Getting the different approaches, because you want to be able to, when you're competing, be able to have an answer for whatever's in front of you, or whatever
Exactly.
is put in there. Now, every once in a while, boxers do get hit, get hurt, get stunned. Have you had a moment where you had to deal with some adversity during a bout that you kind of had to adapt, and how did that go?
Definitely. I've gotten my bell rung a few times. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm in the fighting game. But I'd also say I'm blessed to have a good chin. I've come from a good family. We're pretty tough. But just I'd say even when I get hit, it almost like brings me out more. I say it kind of flips that switch for me, where when I get hit, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bang my gloves together and come right back at you, hit you twice as hard even. But no, yeah, there's definitely been adversity. There's been times, you know, luckily I've never been caught flush on the chin, but there's been times, where I've gotten 8 counts, and I've had to fight back from there, fight back from that, come back and get back in the fight, show them that, I could do just that to the other guy.
There you go.
But I mean, boxing is all about adversity, always all about fighting. So even in life, it's really boxing's been a blessing.
Definitely.
All
Definitely.
right, so you came around national tournament wise, I'm gonna say right before the open scoring showed up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like, did you notice was there any noticeable difference to you and how fights were conducted with and without the open scoring? Do you like it? Did it change how your dad coached in the corner?
Yeah, yeah. They're kind of you do notice a change. Definitely in your corner. If you're down a round, if it's a split, 3 judges for the other kid or 3 judges for you, it's like, okay, you got to pick it up. You kind of know when to pick it up. Your corner is definitely going to tell you, hey, oh, we need this last round. You're down. You know. Um, do I like it? It's kind of a love-hate relationship, I'd say. It is good, but it also kind of uh you don't want to rely on that, just that, it kind of messes with you a little bit when you're in the ring. because sometimes you're like, hey, I thought I won that. What the heck?
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Like, you ever had the moment where you clicking on all cylinders, you get back to the corner and like they said I lost.
Yeah, yeah. So I have actually. It was one of my semifinals matches, and I came out boxing the first round, staying on my jab. I didn't get hit. I thought I was just on my jab. Cool. All 5 judges for the other kid. And I was like, man, what do they want to see? So definitely, I'd say the open scoring did help me in that situation. The next round, they're like, okay, we need more. I came back and I got the other round, the next 2 rounds. So I'd say, yeah. But there's also been times on the opposing side where I've been up 2 rounds, but they were kind of split. It was 3 rounds, different judges, and I kind of got comfortable in that third round. So it's on both sides.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it works both ways, but I think generally it does at least give you a sense of kind of where you're at, right? And not making the assumption that that we should be up or whatnot. So I think open scoring is here to stay, and I think it's all for the best. When it comes to that. Real quick, 3-round slide number 191. We're talking to Seth Duran out in Tennessee, originally from California. But if you didn't tune in earlier when we posted, just go back and listen how he landed in Tennessee, which is interesting in its own. But this is a sport that will make you grow as a person, no matter even if you don't want to. This is just a sport you're going to have to do it. So, and one of those kind of methods that it does is how you kind of deal with setbacks, right? You kind of touched on it a little bit here, but when you go through that long training camp, you make it to the finals or whatever, and the decision doesn't go your way, be it rightfully so or not. Like, how was that ride home? How was that conversation with your pops, and like, how are you taking those losses and making sure that you're extracting the right things that happen? Because in every fight, it's not like everything goes wrong, right? There's some, positive. How do you kind of process all that and be ready for the next one?
So speaking on losses, I mean, some losses just hurt. They sting worse than others, Definitely in those when you're in the finals and you come up short and you think you did enough. It's like those really hurt. Especially after, like you said, a long training camp, going through, basically almost hell just to be there. And you come up just, one judge short. Those make you, those sting, but they definitely, I'd say they're almost necessary. You just don't want to lose again. I'll say you want to work twice as hard. You want to get there again, and you want to clinch that victory. So you want to be there and just give it everything you got in the gym and outside of the gym.
That's a great point right there.
All right, so what does Seth do when he's not boxing? Like, okay, boxing all the time, you got sleep and stuff, but like what occupies your time outside of this sport?
I like to be with my family. Yeah, so I like to hang out with my family. Like I said, I'm a very active person. I like hanging out with my friends too. We go to the soccer fields, play some soccer. Definitely eat. Definitely eat. Definitely like my grandma's cooking. When I'm in camp, I can't really have it. So definitely like to spend time with my family and enjoy my grandma's cooking.
Shout out to grandma.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I don't know. I haven't eaten.
Starving.
You know what I mean? Like, I haven't eaten anybody's grandma's cooking and not loved it. Like, it's always good. You know what I mean? There's just something about it, right?
It's always different too, depending where they come from.
Yeah, they be doing all types of things. Everything, nothing's the same. Like,
and they measure nothing.
Yeah, no,
Man, how much did you
uh,
put? I just did this. I'm like, what? Like, what's going on here? But you know, when that relationship, that unique kind of bond that you build, with your dad during a sport that as brutal as is, like, when you do get those wins, your hand is raised, you turn back, you see your dad in the corner. Like, how does it feel just having him and sharing those moments right there on the ring?
that is, I say that's one of the best feelings in the world. Definitely just all type of emotion is running through your body. I give my dad a big hug, even a kiss on the cheek, just tell him I love him, tell him thank you for everything, tell him thank you for believing me most of all. And even like it just knowing that, we kind of step on each other's toes and stuff, it knowing it all worked out, when it mattered, that if it's the best friend in the world.
There you go.
All right. So, in this boxing journey, uh, especially one with a dad, there comes like that part where you're at that age where I'm grown now. We had that moment yet?
uh I mean, yeah, it's kind of there's things where I'm like, man, why can't you just let me do it my way?
Get off my back, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, damn, you trying to make decisions for me, but I know he has my best interests at heart. I give him a little bit of push, but uh, we're kind of. I know he's never gonna put me in a situation that's bad for me. So
Yeah, you
I
give
mean,
him a push, he gives you putazo.
nah. He just makes me. He used to make me run. He like
Oh yeah,
stop the car, run a mile. And I was
nice.
like, I keep my mouth shut next time.
Oh man. Now, it's this is a kind of a unique situation, kind of this generation of boxers that now have not just other boxers that kind of competing with or being there. Now you have this kind of era of like social media boxers, or boxers that are not really trained as boxers necessarily, but have enough fame to compete in the sport. Just
Yeah.
that's probably something that you'll probably kind of deal with, just because it's kind of so early on that they'll have, DAZN has a whole kind of setup for all these boxers that kind of compete, or quote unquote boxer. Just what are your thoughts on those social media type boxers, and maybe taking a little bit of a shortcut to the limelight?
Um, I can't say much. I definitely could say it's kind of, even though I might hate saying it, it's very like I enjoy it almost. It's fun to watch. I've been to one of their events. They actually had one pretty close to my house, and they're fun. I don't take it serious. I've seen some of the social media guys in the gym. I've been to. They actually had their the training thing in the gym leading up to the fight one time, and it was just a whole show almost. So I take it for what it is. It's just a show, just gotta enjoy it, sit back, just laugh, smile. But I mean, you can't some of these guys, they're actually pretty good, so you can't hate on them either.
Yeah.
Doing
They
what
ever
you
try to
gotta
get?
do. What's up? What'd you say?
They ever try to get in the ring with you?
No, I think they're smart enough not to.
Okay,
But I mean, I would love to. I would love to.
this
I wouldn't pass down that opportunity. So,
Yeah,
maybe
free highlight. Yeah.
yeah, give them a taste of their own medicine. Bring out the camera.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
man,
like
that's
the WWE version of boxing. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's definitely a home for it. And obviously they're creating a lot of buzz, I guess. I mean, you have what, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I don't even. Is that even gonna happen? Mike Tyson, didn't he have a episode or something and like traveling or something like?
Yeah, he had
like
like
health scare, like
up while he was on a plane or something like that.
like
he almost 60 years old, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's got to be some limitation. Like it's so
that
early
has
on.
to be immoral. Like, it's got to be wrong somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like if it does happen and Jake Paul does, like you said, he's 6 years old, age catches up to you. So
yeah, I mean that's unk, man. That's like
yeah,
that's everybody. Boxing's just
yeah.
It's a lose situation for like Jake Paul because on one hand you got beat up by an almost 60-year-old man. Granted, this Mike Tyson, almost 60-year-old man, and then like if you do beat him,
the world
you just beat him, we gonna hate you.
The world's gonna demand his head.
That's right, man. Like, what you doing?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, hey, like I said, you can't really hate on it either. Who knows how much money they got, in that contract.
Yeah. And they're opening doors. Netflix, right?
Ashton Silva and Kid Austin and a real prospect fight on the undercard.
Yeah,
man.
that is a real great
matchup. They're getting paid well to risk their O's on their record.
Yeah.
Really kids too.
Yeah, so they're definitely like fights like that. I mean, those are good for the sport, especially on a for bringing casuals into that event, bringing eyes on fighters like that I feel like that's good for the sport.
Yeah, I think so. You're gonna see athleticism and explosion coming from Kid Austin and a bag of skills coming from Ashton Silva. Man, that's a good fight. They had to pay good money because you don't get guys risking their records like that no more.
Yeah, that check had to be pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, man. So, coming up around like you're in what do you call it? Would you Middle Tennessee, Central Tennessee area?
Yeah, Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee. Was there ever a push to play just football all the time? Because that part of Tennessee is kind of like. That was just me by myself, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, yo.
You know what? I don't know what was going on.
I don't know, but I was gonna start rapping or something. I was like, it's me by myself, dog.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure what is going on here. But we're back. This is live, so anything can happen. So I apologize for all that good. But
you guys cut me out and kicked me. I wasn't doing good or what?
Nah, man. No. Hey, we're having a good back and forth. This is good. Yeah, no, it was all that. But go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because the part of Tennessee you live in is kind of like heavy football. You know what I mean? Was there ever a push to like, nah, man, play football? Like, we don't got boxing here in Columbia. Just play football, like, because I had to deal with that when I opened the gym in Texas. Like, the gym would empty out in August. Everybody show up in November when their team lost, and then they'd be boxing the rest of the year. Y'all, was it like that there?
I mean, yeah, you could. I guess you could say I'm in almost the South, so heavy football. But no, not at all. I basically made it clear that that boxing, that's what I'm gonna be, a boxer. That's what I am. When I did play football, the coaches I was a starter my freshman year. Even though the team wasn't that good, my talent was there, so they try to put me on, lifting heavy quick. They put me in that weight room, and I was just like, man, what you guys got me doing?
Have you walk around all buff?
Yeah. I was like, now I gotta drop 10 pounds by the next month. Like,
just making it hard on me. Yeah.
This is like one of the common themes of this sport being for so long. You started at 5 years old, so you've been here for essentially the majority of your life, right?
Yeah.
Boxing has been involved. Now, how do you think the sport has changed you as a person? Like, it has had, some effect and changes and, discipline, all that stuff. How has the sport affected, changed you?
It definitely matured me very quick. I'd say I was I like to say I was a mature kid growing up, but it definitely kind of opened my eyes. I was always around, I'd say, older people. There's not many kids in the boxing gym, and even if they are, they fade out. So the faces I was seeing, they were always older. I was kind of I like to hang out with the older guys, I guess, when I was young. I like to think I was one of them. But I did see I've when I being in high school, I kind of did. I realized like, okay, yeah, some of the stuff you guys are into, I'm not into. So boxing definitely did kind of get me, like, help me skip that phase.
There you go.
All right. Outside of the YouTuber boxing, like, who are you watching? When you a fan of anybody in particular, or you
Um,
just fights?
I'm just a fan of boxing. I do like anyone. I do have my boxers that I tend to root for.
Who are they?
Definitely, being Hispanic, you gotta go for Canelo.
Mhm.
Even though some people say he's ducking Benavides, but I'm a fan of the sport. I know it's gonna happen one day. I'll tell everyone, hey, he's probably saving him for his last fight. But Benavides, just names, like Ryan. I like Haney. I really like him, even though he kind of been a little. I feel like a little sore loser, but I mean, you still can't hate for what he's done. He's undisputed champ, former. So, but even like fights like that, prospects,
Yeah.
like the two guys you said,
Yeah,
Mhm.
Ashton Silva, Kid Austin. Yeah.
seeing them like fight, I like that. I don't like seeing someone fighting a tomato can, someone I've never heard of.
Oh
Just,
yeah, some kid that's like 12-0, 12 knockouts,
Uh,
fighting
yeah,
199. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah. Hey, one of the newer things that has happened is this team combat league. Have
yeah.
you looked into
Yeah.
it, or what are your thoughts on
I
that?
love it. Yeah.
It's definitely different. Uh, I think it's pretty cool. Definitely that the way that it keeps fighters active, and even if, let's say, they're not really in the best situation, you could fight, you could get paid, keep them active on their feet. It is different though. The one round stuff is, I don't know. It's I guess it's not for everyone, because for me at least, by the third round, that's when I'm hot. That's when I'm ready. So one round is kind of 3 minutes isn't enough. I feel like.
Gotcha. Yeah, because it's there's a lot of some amateurs that are there. Shirai Maru's there. Like, there's a lot of um, boxers that kind of kick off there. If the opportunity came up, is that something that maybe you'll jump at? You
Who
need a little
knows?
bit more time.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely. I wouldn't. I keep it open. My options open. I'll definitely look into that.
You're not too
Um,
far from Atlanta.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no. Actually, I think I heard some talks about a team coming to Nashville. So who knows? If I get
Hey,
that call, I might represent Nashville.
hey, I'm rooting for him. Anything with boxing like that, I think it's a way to root for a team, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
all those sports have that, and this is something
Yeah.
that could
It's
probably
it's a
provide
it's
that.
a it's an odd mix of talent
Yeah.
levels there too. So you got, say,
Yeah.
somebody like Philip Vela, who just came out of like the trials
Yep.
and top amateur, fought a former world champion in his first fight. You know what I mean? And won,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's fresh out to amateurs. This other guy's fighting 12 rounds. He's
yeah,
fighting four, like, or three. So like it was nothing to him. Like,
yeah.
it's
It's definitely different.
different
To their
pace,
own.
everything. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So what do you like? You There's not many boxers in Columbia, Tennessee. Tennessee in general, but specifically Middle Tennessee, Columbia area. When there's young kids coming into the gym or exploring it, I'm pretty sure you're the guy they're pointing at. Like, hey, see that kid over there? That's Seth Duran.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best in the gym. You should be like him. Are you saying anything to these kids, or are you just letting your work speak for itself?
I definitely like to. I like seeing the little kids in the gym, because I like to picture myself almost like like yeah, you know, I've seen little there's this little Hispanic kid that goes to our gym, and I look at him and I'm like, man, just stick to it, bro. Like even I'll tell him, I was like, I'll tell the little kids I was your age, you know, I was your age boxing. I was 5 years old when I started boxing. And they're like, wow. And so it's definitely cool because I know when I was that little kid, I was looking up to the older guys and I thought, wow, like these guys are, you know, the best out there. And I want to be just like them. So now that I'd say probably even better. It's just a blessing, you know.
That's what's up, man.
Definitely. You know, and being so young, getting into the sport, you know, you probably have different goals. Probably you just want to win bouts or go to nationals. Like, how have your goals changed now? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? And you know, in the last kind of tail end of your amateur career and the pros, like, what's your goals? What are the things that keep you motivated and on task?
So my main goal, you know, has always been like professional boxing. That's always been what I know I'm gonna do. But you know, even amateurs, you know, I do. It's kind of at first I didn't like the amateurs. You know, I was always like, oh, I'm a pro style. But you learn to accept kind of, hey, this is what you got to do. So my goals as of now is definitely get those national titles. You know, starting with Summerfest and then definitely in December. But long-term goals, I want to be one of the best. You know, I want to be remembered. I want my name to live longer than I do. So I'm shooting. You know, we got 2 times undisputed guys in the sport, so I'm gonna shoot for 3. You know, that's the goal right there.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so you being like, what are you, 18, right?
Yes, 18.
You're 18, so social media has pretty much always existed in your life, where we're senior citizens almost, and we remember when there was no, you know, we remember before cell phones, we remember the Motorola pager, we remember, you know, rotary dial phone, we remember all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Social media has always been a part of your life, and now in the sport of boxing, it seems that it's
a big part.
I would say just as important, if not more important, to be popular.
Yeah, I know.
Rather than it is to just be good at the sport.
Exactly. You want to
like, are you finding it a push to like be active all the time, post here, story here, like damn near just a full-time content creator while boxing?
It's definitely at first, you know, I like to say I have like an old soul almost. I like that old school too stuff. I like that. But definitely my dad, he's been drilling me. He's like, hey, come on, you got to be active on social media. You got to post this, post stories, you know, post more. And it's like, man, you know, you always want to post those best moments, but he tells me you got to bring them on part of your journey, you know? So, it's definitely almost like a part-time job, like you said, being almost a social media, you know, influencer, even when you're not even, you don't got followers like that. Is definitely, you just got to stay consistent, you know, disciplined, like just like in the gym, you just got to keep making steps, making progress, I'd say.
It seems just like it's so time consuming. And then me being a coach, right? Not just a dad, but a dad coach and a full-time coach by trade. That's my living. I don't have a camera or a phone in my hand all the time. I have a stopwatch and a whistle, and you know what I mean? Like, like who's doing the recording for you people, man? Like, I just want to know who's doing all this stuff.
Sometimes you just got to make it work, you know. Sometimes you got to just invest in those, even though you see people and you kind of poke little jabs at them, you gotta get that selfie stick or that
Oh,
stand,
yeah.
you gotta be that guy in the gym, and it's like it's kind of, you just gotta accept it for what it is. But my dad's definitely, he's helped me with everything. He's he knows, you gotta record, capture basically almost every moment, I'd say, especially, take pictures, take lots of pictures, after sparring, before going to, these tournaments, taking these pictures because they're memories,
Yeah.
So, it's, yeah, I say, my dad really has been.
Shout out to Dad. I
Yeah,
haven't.
I can't stop talking about him. I feel like.
I just don't have the time, or I don't have enough
Yeah.
hands. Train too many people. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. Like,
It's just another part of the journey. It's another commitment. You gotta stick with it. You know what I mean? Because if not, it could hinder some of those opportunities you're looking for straight, especially when you're making that jump over.
Yeah. You want to be able to put people in those seats, So
Yeah. It's all about that. It's a business at the end of the day, especially at the pro. So real quick, 3 rounds live, number 191. We're out here talking to Seth Duran out in Tennessee, originally from California. And as we just kind of gather our final questions, again, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, man. This hour just kind of flew by. We had a little hitch in the middle there, but
what happened there, man?
I know Coach Harris said he was gonna about the rap or stuff. I don't know what was going on, but about the freestyle. But okay, so let's bring it back. You just competed at the National Golden Gloves. Look real good. In that final. But again, I only saw the finals, but ended up being a 3-2 split right there, give and go. You talked to some people, you thought so and so won, you won, like. It was just that close. And actually, I cut up and I posted up. If anybody wants to see it, you and Gerard Thompson went at it from Detroit there. What, after looking at the tape and looking at the way that the tournament came about, what do you think is going to take to, not make it as close for the judges? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think is going to be that change to say, okay, you know what? Nah, there's no doubt about that. Seth won this battle. Like, what are those changes? What are those little tweaks that you got to do to separate yourself from your competition, on these tournaments coming up?
Definitely, I say just working hard, being in the gym, definitely letting those hands go a little bit more. You could always do more, I'd say. Staying on that jab, working more on that jab. I thought my jab was pretty good, but I know I could just get it just as nice, just as fast, just as hard. Same thing with my right hand. I could let it go. Like, there's moments, you look back at the table, like, oh man, I missed that, missed this. Add another punch. Definitely just working on all that in the gym, on the pads, on the bag, just, more rounds. Just like I said, those losses, they just make you even hungrier. So right now I'm just work. That's all I see. I'm focused. I'm tunnel vision right now.
There you go. And in pros, we all love our trilogies, Gotti Ward, all those things. I mean, I posted those best moments, and you guys went at it a little bit in the comments. You know what I mean? So going back and forth.
I love it.
I mean, I saw it. I'm like, hey. And the next time I see you guys competing, I'm gonna be focused in right there. But is that just part of the sport? Just kind of, everybody wants to win. This is a sport where you have to feel like you're the best, because you got to be able to compete like that. It's just fun and games until you get in the ring.
For me, it's fun. I mean, I like it. This is boxing, you see it on social media, so this is what people like, and I like being that person, that people look at. So, I like that little banter, that fun, that back and forth. You say something about me, I'm gonna say something about you. Something slick. But definitely, I'm not the one I'm not a sore loser. Some people see it's all about perspective. Some people think he won. Okay, that's fine. I thought I won in my heart. Everyone I asked thinks I won. But you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're just yes men, you know. So um, you gotta take it for what it is, I guess. Gotta keep moving, gotta keep pushing forward. I was in that fight, so I know if I work harder, um, like you said, there's no doubt about it. I know next time it's definitely not gonna be close.
Hey, it's good. You know, I'm gonna bust out the popcorn the next time because I love to see it. And you know, amateur boxing needs a little bit of that rivalry. You know, it's
Yeah.
a little bit back and forth, and I think it will just kind of engage more people. And
I
there's
think got a
been
little boring after Olympic trials too. Like the Olympic trials was so controversial.
oh my goodness,
that, like everything else, like oh man, we need something crazy to happen.
Yeah, you wanna.
The trials was so insanely controversial. This, yeah, oh yeah, we had a tournament in Albuquerque. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need some crazy stuff going on. So
Yeah.
y'all talk all y'all trash so we can get it hype again. You know? What I
Yeah,
mean?
stuff like that is definitely it makes people want to tune in, you know, when you see names that you remembered, even if they're in the back of your head, you're like, okay, I've heard that name before. I'm gonna check that fight out. Especially when it's two guys, you know, going back and forth. Okay, I'm gonna sit down and check this fight out, you know.
there you
Yeah,
go.
it's gonna be a while before we have a tournament as crazy as this last trial. So
Man, Coach, you got any final questions there, Coach?
I just want to say one thing. I thought it was ironic you said let your hands go because the Team Combat League has been kind of going around with the cameras asking coaches what's the best way to let your hand go. And you had a couple of asked Wavy Gravy. He was like, don't even think about it. It happened. And then they asked Crowd was a world champion, you know, he'd been in Canelo, and he's like, hey, you get behind your jab first, and then everything else will follow behind that. So I thought that was ironic you said that. So you might want to go check their social media and like you see the like different answers from these guys with the same question. Yeah, and they've all been in this business like probably longer than you've been alive, but they're vastly all over the map with that same question. You know what I mean? I thought that was crazy. But if you had a magic wand and you could fix this sport, what would you do?
First thing, do I got like multiple things I could do?
You do whatever the hell you want.
I got 3 wishes.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, I say judging. Judging is the biggest thing, you know. Fight, even I'm not just saying because of my fight. I'm saying because just boxing in general. I've seen fights recently in pros where it's like, man, how did that guy win?
I'm not gonna say that Barbosa dude did not beat the Irish kid. Oh my God! Like
I like Barbosa, but I mean,
like him too, but like, yeah, he ain't win that fight. Though. I don't care.
You gotta keep it real, and that's exactly one of the fights I was thinking about when I said that. It sucks because for the other guy, you know, who knows what that guy went through? Who knows what he went through? He came overseas, you know, he's away from home and cutting weight and all that. He was a pretty tall guy, so I know he.
Slender, but had a bag on him too. Couldn't punch through paper, but like he had a bag.
He was definitely sticking and moving and making Barbosa almost look a little bit silly. But
you're right. Yeah.
Man. So, you know, when we posted that we are gonna have you on, I saw people, you know, sharing and on their story or commenting or whatever. You know, so there's that community support. You know, they want to see you win. They're cheering for you. How does it feel just kind of having that, you know, just that support for you? You know, they want to see you win.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, like it's definitely a blessing, you know. Just recently, just this last Saturday, I was back in it. You know, I matched up locally, which is a blessing because you know it's hard. It's definitely hard. But just going and you know seeing guys that you always see and just getting congratulated. Hey, congrats on this, congrats on that, and they're like just seeing the support, knowing that they watched me fight, knowing they were tuning in and all that. It's like, okay, cool. I didn't expect it, you know. And I was like, oh damn, you tuned in. I appreciate it.
There you go. Well, let people know how they can follow your journey, social media, your Instagram. Where are you? Where can they follow you?
Definitely on Instagram, Superboy_Seth. that's kind of the main thing right there. We're definitely gonna open up that YouTube channel pretty soon. Probably same thing. Everything Superboy. That's me.
Okay, okay. How do you get is that the nickname or how do you get it?
Yeah, it's a nickname. I think it's pretty fly. I growing up, me and my brothers, we kind of. I have three brothers or two brothers actually. It's three of us. And we kind of all like comic books. So just stuff like that. I like Superman. I think he's like one of the best superheroes, and I'm not a man yet, so Superboy. I think it's there.
There
Okay.
you go. There you
Superboy
go.
sounds pretty good though.
Yeah, it goes with it.
Yeah. It rolls
Yeah,
up
it
the
rolls
tongue.
off the tongue.
It
Yeah.
rolls off the tongue. That's for sure. Go ahead and give out those shout outs, those thank yous, so everybody has to get to where you're at so far.
Shout out to the gyms. Shout out to Music City. Shout out to Butcher Shop Boxing. Shout out to Elite Boxing back in California. Shout out to my parents, my mom, my dad. I love you guys. My brothers. Just shout out to the people supporting. Thank you guys. It's a blessing. I can't express how much it means to me. So just knowing that I have support from not only my family but just people out there, people I might not even know. It's like, wow, thank you guys.
There you go. There you go. And sometimes you need, a reminder, right? When you're in the gym, it gets a little tough and it gets lonely. It's only you in there, but when they're behind you, it makes worth. So, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Great conversation, great back and forth.
Oh,
Man,
thank you.
you're ready for those pro interviews, so you're good to go, man. So we'll definitely tune in. You said maybe the summer festival you're going to be competing. Maybe you'll round out. You're at the tail end of your amateur career, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Up next. So to everyone who tuned in, maybe didn't catch the whole interview, we're going to go ahead and post it. You guys can watch it, share it, look at all those moments, see how he got to Tennessee. That was one of our questions coming in. It's like, how did he land in Tennessee? What's happened out there? So the answer is there. So make sure to tune in, and then just all the trials and everything that you learned in this sport. One last question. You said you mentioned your dad so many times. Do you see yourself? You see yourself being a coach later on? Like, are you going to be passing that knowledge along to the next generation?
Who knows?
You don't got that patience.
Definitely. I've been coaching. Giving a little bit of advice at the gym. With the little kids, it's definitely hard. It's like, damn, you guys do not pay attention at all. But who knows? I always said probably not, but who knows? I know this has been my whole life. So who knows? At the end of my career, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna do what I know how to do.
There you go. There you go. Focus on being undisputed, three-time undisputed. That's the goal. We'll be tuned in. We'll follow you on Instagram. Again, I appreciate you taking the time. And that's all we got. We ran over a couple minutes. I'm starving. Coach Terry, I'm sure you're hungry. We're talking about grandma's food. We're talking about all this craziness. I appreciate everybody tuning in. No problem. Remember the 3 Rounds Live, the only podcast solely dedicated to amateur boxing. You have a good night, and we'll be here next week. Take it easy, man.
All right, take care, guys.
Superboy Seth.
All right, Superboy.
There you go.